Hi, Mike Brantley, auctioneer. Discussing today a term many auctioneers use all the time, not necessarily with sellers, but they get into a court dispute or they talk about what property brought, and inevitably the topic of arm's length comes up. So I'm discussing with you today arm's length, the term arm's length. What does that mean? What does it mean when something sells arm's length? Meaning we have two disinterested parties, generally, one selling and one buying. Maybe I can help you understand arm's length by telling you the opposite of arm's length. In appraisal, I've got a home to sell. I decide my home is worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000. But down the street, a mother sold her house to her son for $50,000. Now, is that an indication that my home is only worth $50,000? What's the argument here? Well, that's a comp. It's in the same neighborhood. It's sold recently, similar in style. But what's the problem? Not arm's length. A mother selling her home to her son, who she loves and cares for, gave him a deal. Homes in the neighborhood run plus or minus $300,000. She sold that to him for $50,000. Is that a comp? That's not a comp because it's not arm's length. We don't have two disinterested, but rather interested in each other and the property parties. Sheriff sales, court-ordered sales, forced sales, sales between relatives or friends, distressed quick sales, if you will. Have to find a buyer and I got to sell it by 5 o'clock. That's probably not an arm's length transaction. So let's talk about what an arm's length transaction is. Arm's length transactions constitute marketed for a reasonable amount of time, well marketed for a reasonable amount of time. Bidders have an opportunity to preview, to check it out. It is sold to the highest bidder with reasonable terms on a reasonable time frame, reasonable deposit, reasonable closing date, if you will, a commercially reasonable transaction where the parties aren't incentivized to do anything other than the seller's trying to maximize the price, the buyer's trying to minimize the price. That's arm's length. That's arm's length. And what's the significance of arm's length transactions? Well, appraisers, and many auctioneers are appraisers, auctioneers who are appraisers and appraisers can use what? Comps. They can use comps to fill out or complete a sales comparison approach appraisal. That's what they do. That's what you use. Comps. So if it's a comp, it has to be arm's length. It has to be, comps are recent sales that took place in the same neighborhood of like kind in the real property arena. And fourth, they're arm's length transactions. Many auctioneers report to me that they sold something at auction 2 years ago or a year ago or what have you, and there was an appraisal being done in that neighborhood, and they refused to use the auction as arm's length because they considered auctions where bidders are pressured to bid more or maybe paid a little bit more than true market value. I'm not sure that's a valid reasoning there, but I've heard tales that auctions aren't considered arm's length. I think auctions, generally speaking, could be used and are used as arm's length transactions. Forced auction, not so much, but an auction where sellers trying to maximize price, bidders are trying to minimize the price, and we've got an agent in here working for the seller trying to maximize price. Doesn't sound much different than a traditional real estate agent trying to maximize price. Arm's length. Last, I'll give you one more example. We did a divorce auction where all the property from the house, a big house, 6,000 square feet, came down to our auction house in Groveport, Ohio. He was there at the auction that day with his girlfriend. She was there that day with her boyfriend. And we have a golf cart, a customized golf cart. And that golf cart had features that not many golf carts have. Additional lighting, glossy, sparkly paint, the top was raised up. It was pretty fancy. Not a lot of comps, you might say, about that golf cart. Couldn't find anything really similar. They'd had it customized and put a lot of money in it. Well, golf carts, the base model of that golf cart at that time, with that kind of hours or miles or what have you, would sell for $2,500. This golf cart sold for $7,000. Well, the crowd's there. Our phone number's not hard to find. We're not hard to find. Phone starts ringing. Oh, I got somebody in North Columbus got a golf cart. I heard you got $7,000 for a golf cart. I'd sure take $7,000 for mine. Had somebody south of Columbus call me up within 24 hours. Hey, I got a couple golf carts. I heard you hit it out of the park on golf carts. What do I have to tell all those people? What should I tell all those people? Well, hold up, guys. It did bring $7,000, but it wasn't an arm's length transaction, because guess who was bidding on it? She was bidding on it. Her boyfriend was bidding on it. He was bidding on it, or his girlfriend was bidding on it. And they're not disinterested parties. They have an interest in the case, or a abnormal or unusual interest in the circumstances. Therefore, not arm's length. So I told all those folks to be glad to, take your golf carts and get them down here and get them sold. But unless they're pretty special, don't expect $7,000. And they were like, well, why wouldn't mine bring seven? The one you sold the other night brought seven. Well, that wasn't an arm's length transaction. Mike Brantley, auctioneer. Pleasure to be with you today. Other videos on this same page, others forthcoming. Have a great day and stay safe.